Welcome, everybody, back to the Friar Talk podcast and YouTube channel. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about Trent Grisham a little bit, as well as talking about Jose Azocar. So, topic for today, basically going to be going over the idea of benching Trent Grisham for Jose Azocar. However, we wanted to talk about Jose Azocar because he's been playing really well. He's been popping off. Trent Grisham, on the other hand, has been struggling a lot. And when you dive into the numbers, you see that he's excelled in a couple areas, but he has really struggled over the beginning part of the season and pretty much in the same departments last year. So, Isaac, I asked you the question, should Trent Grisham be benched for Jose Azocar or at least replaced to an extent?
I'm going to say no, though that's not saying that I don't think Azocar should get some more chances just because he's been talked about being sent down when the roster is shortened and, when we get some guys back, he's been talking about getting sent down. But I think sending him down at his highest point is doing him a big disservice because we look at guys that we've given opportunities to. You look at 2020, Jake Cronenworth got his opportunity when Eric Hosmer went down. He made the most of it. He started off hot. You got a valuable bat and a valuable glove in 2020, and then you got one of the best second basemen in baseball in 2021. I just think that when somebody shows you something at the early stages of their career in the first couple games, you just got to keep giving them chances till they don't show it anymore. That's not to say he should be an everyday starter. I don't think he should be an everyday starter yet. He's still got a lot to show. He's on a very small sample size, though he's fast. He's got a good glove, and he's putting up some really good at-bats. But with Trent Grisham, it's like a lot of people had high hopes for Trent Grisham, including myself. I thought he'd have himself a solid year, and of course, that's still on the table. He could still have himself a pretty good year, but he hasn't started off hot. There's a guy that's starting off better, that's having some better at-bats. So it's like you can start Azocar once, at least this series against the Dodgers, and upcoming in the easier series, you should see him get a couple more opportunities, especially over Beatty, where Beatty hasn't provided you any value, not on the base path, not defensively, not at the plate. He hasn't done anything productive from a production standpoint to make me think, wow, this guy deserves to get an opportunity over somebody who's consistently put up good at bats, has shown that he has a solid glove, and is very fast. So I think he should jump Beatty in terms of outfield depth and on the depth chart. But starting over Grisham, I think in order to get Grisham back into the form that you think he can be, you kind of have to keep getting him out there, keep getting him his at bats, because that's the only way you're gonna get him out of the slump. Same with Cronenworth. You just got to keep getting these guys at bats because they've shown that they're good bats. But, I mean, they're just starting off pretty slow.
I don't know if you can consider Grisham to be as like a good at bat. I mean, what we've seen from him throughout 3 years he's been on the Padres is just straight inconsistency. Like, he'll go off for a series, but then he'll disappear for like 2 months. And sure, he'll make plays with his glove and with his arm. But we were looking at his Baseball Savant page, Matt. I don't know if you want to pull that up now or not, but sure, he has a great chase rate. He has a great walk rate, but that leads to just an average on base percentage. I mean, we're looking at this. He only has a 330 on base percentage, and even lower right now. It's at 264, but over the past 4 seasons, it's 330. He is nearly 80th percentile in walk rate this year. He's 90th percentile in chase rate. He doesn't swing at balls. He knows where the strike zone, and he has really good plate discipline. So why doesn't he hit the ball harder? Why doesn't he get more hits, or why doesn't he walk more? He has weaker contact. He's also one of the fastest guy in the league. So he should be able to beat out those infield grounders, lay a bunt down when he needs to. And sure, when he hits a home run, yeah, it's great to have power from him because we've seen it. But we really haven't seen it consistently. Outside of like a few games where he hits like 3 home runs or 2 home runs in a game, the power is gone. I mean, we've seen him hit a double this year and opposite field home run. But outside of that, it's just, okay, he's going to make great plays with his defense. So I figure I'm not saying he should replace Grisham and get like start every day, but definitely to an extent, Azocar needs to get more reps. I mean, with Grisham struggling this heavily, maybe throw him into DH a couple games and let Azocar start in center field. But you still got to reward his good play. Azocar's been putting together really good at bats. He's been walking. He steals bases at a pretty good rate. He plays good defense. He's got a good eye. I mean, why not reward the rookie for playing well? I mean, that's what we've done with all our other rookies. If somebody's playing better than another guy, it's no excuse to not play him just because one guy has more MLB experience. Let the rookie show what he has until he can't.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. I mean, I feel like when we're looking at Trent Grisham, I don't know if you saw at the end, but I flashed up his 2020 baseball savant numbers, and they're ridiculous. They're 80 percentile on everything. It's like superstar numbers. However, when we look at Trent Grisham over the entire season last year, we look at what his issues were in 2019, and then we look at how he's looked early on. Chase, you're exactly right. Inconsistency is just killing him because he will get super hot, and that's what happened in that 60 game season. But over the course of a full season and going through the highs and lows, his offensive numbers are below average at best, right? Average at best. Like they're not good. And he gets into spots where he's 0 for 4 for the entire week, every single game. And you can't have like massive holes like that in your lineup. So can he improve? Absolutely. We've talked about the flashes we've seen from him. He's still a young player. He's 25 years old. So I'm with you. I wouldn't recommend benching Trent Grisham completely for Jose Azocar. However, I do think that Jose Azocar should be in the mix a little bit more than he's been in the past. Jurickson Profar has been fantastic in left field. Keep riding him out as he's been super hot. So keep just letting him play. But Trent Grisham, Will Myers, those guys are struggling a lot. CJ Abrams, he's struggling a lot as well. So maybe instead of putting CJ always in right when you're taking Myers out, toss in Azocar a little bit in there. Give Grisham a little bit more off days. Maybe put Myers at DH. We've talked about that in the past. When Myers has been at first in DH, he's been fantastic from a hitting standpoint. But like, I don't know. I think that Azocar has put together some really, really good plate appearances. I think that we've all felt that. He had the 2-out RBI a couple nights ago. Defensively, he looks really solid. He's a fast player. Like I think he's a guy, and he's definitely not a highly touted prospect or anything, but he had a good spring training. And sometimes guys don't pan out. They're not supposed to be, these high-end prospects, but they end up panning out. We have one in Jake Cronenworth on the team that was not anything close to a highly touted prospect. So I think with Azocar, you got to give him some more reps, at least somewhat. And I think a lot of those are going to come in center field and come supplementing Trent Grisham. So that's what I would expect. But anything else you guys want to add on Trent Grisham and Jose Azocar?
No, I don't think so. I just think, Trent Grisham, he has a heavy chip on his shoulder. He needs to be able to figure it out soon because, I mean, I think when we did one of our bounce back or breakout videos, I forgot what it was, everybody said Trent Grisham would be that guy. And unfortunately, through however many games, over 10 games, he hasn't been that guy. We've needed somebody to come through and be the leadoff hitter, the electrifying hitter. I mean, of course, it's been Manny and you got Hosmer and you got Profar, but too much of our run production has come from them. And one of the sources we expected our run production to come from isn't there right now, like at all. You haven't gotten much from him. Of course, in the outfield, you're going to get some great plays out of him. He has robbed a home run. He makes solid. He does have a really good glove. It's just a matter of you need to be able to put it together at the plate because there's a lot of guys out there that have good gloves. Even on our team, Azocar has a pretty decent glove from what we've seen so far, but you got to be able to put it together at the plate because I don't think this lineup is the type of lineup that can afford to have a guy that can't hit. They need guys that can I mean, he was supposed to be a heavy lifter, and he's not that. So hopefully he comes around because I really do like Trent Grisham. He is, I mean, in 2020, he was one of my favorite players. 2021 also, I really like Grisham, but he hasn't been coming around for this team. It's too early to give up on him. Hopefully he breaks out this Dodger series because we need all these guys to come through for this series.
Chase, anything you want to add or no? All right. I think that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you all for listening. And we'll be back tomorrow talking about Yu Darvish. Topic is how good is Yu Darvish actually? So it's going to be a fun one to talk about. I think we all have not super different opinions, but somewhat different opinions. So I think it'll be a fun conversation. But that's going to do it for today's episode. So thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.